Today we're going to find out how far this BMW i4 eDrive40 can go on a full charge of battery. This being the single motor version of the i4, it should be relatively efficient. We're also going to find out how it compares to the competition and if this being on an ICE platform really is a penalty for the mid-size electric offering from BMW. We're now headed northward on the E6 motorway with the Mjøsa Lake to my left and not the Minnesund Lake as somebody pointed out in my last video. Yeah, sometimes I misspeak, so it's nice to see that you guys are paying attention and correcting me when I say trivial things that are wrong. I think it's kind of funny, but it's cool at the same time, so keep on doing that, guys. So today's conditions pretty decent, 2 degrees Celsius now. The roads are damp and wet. The weather is also very interesting, where it's cloudy, but just above the horizon, there's like this strip of clear blue skies. It's super interesting. I haven't seen that before. This being the i4 eDrive40, this is the rear wheel drive version, and this car being on 18-inch wheels, it should also be one of the most efficient versions of this car and this platform. And that is reflected in the consumption, which is 20.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, thus far after about 50 kilometers on the road, or about half an hour. Will that change? Will that go up or down once we hit our turnaround point and once we get back to our starting point? I don't know. We never know that. That's why we do these tests over more than 200 kilometers, this ABA testing, starting in one location, driving to another, and then going back again. That's the most representative of real world driving. So this is the first time I'm driving the i4, and thus far it's pretty decent. Very good first impressions. I'm liking this car, but let's see at the end of the video if I still like it as much after a few hours on the road. About an hour later, we're here at our turnaround point here in Moelv, where the 4-lane motorway ends for now. And outside temperature has dropped massively, -6.5 degrees Celsius. We've seen as cold as -7 from +2 degrees. So being about 110 kilometers now inland from where we started, which is about 160 kilometers inland from, you know, the fjord of Oslo, or Oslo Fjord, temperatures are much colder, which is, yeah, interesting, but not a surprise. I mean, this is typical for winter, but it's nice, the weather. Look at the skies. It's so pretty. I really do like it, you know, especially now when it's getting dark so early. It's nice that we have snow and the sky's just brightening up the day. So average consumption, 20.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And according to the wind map, we have a very weak wind from the west, so a crosswind, about 1 meter per second. So I'm guessing that this consumption is going to be pretty much the same when we get back to our starting point. So this car, yeah, really nice to drive. Really nice to drive. I absolutely like this car. And what is really nice is just how smooth the adaptive cruise control is. Some cars are pretty like abrupt and not, you know, comfortable. You can feel the slightest adjustment in speed and in throttle position, but this is just so smooth. A car pulls up ahead in front of you, the car just seamlessly and smoothly brakes down to a new speed and to keep the distance. Really impressed by the smoothness of the adaptive cruise control here on the motorway with the i4. We're now back here at Esso in Gardermoen, back where we started this test a few hours ago. So we have 2 choices for chargers. We have a row of 8 150 kilowatt chem power chargers, or these Alpatronic hyperchargers to my right here. 4 chargers, 2 of them can output a maximum of 225 kilowatts. We're down to 35% state of charge now, and there is one that is vacant or free, or whatever you want to call it. Vacant meaning not occupied, or free meaning also not in use. So we're going to go to this 225 kilowatt charger here, and this car does have a peak charging speed of 207 if I'm not mistaken. And we'll see if we get close to that, because I've not been preconditioning the battery. I've just been driving rear-wheel drive, deep snow. Let's see if we can get close enough. Okay, without hitting the pole. So before we do that, I'm just gonna put the car into park. Average consumption is, where did it go? Where's the average consumption? What? Where did it go? Why did it disappear? What? That's weird. Where did it go? It was just here. What? It was like 21.5, 21.6. Why does it disappear? That's so weird. Do I have another setting here for it? If I go into menu. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's right here. Strange that it went away from the display here. I'm going to show you guys now here. This is so weird. So throughout the whole trip, the average consumption has been displayed here. You know, here's the distance we've driven, and then the average consumption has been displayed up here, and then the actual real-time consumption has been displayed here. But now it's gone. Really weird. But it is here. So 21.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. The charging port here on the i4 is on the passenger side on the rear 3/4. And you open it up by pressing this, and I wanted to show you guys the flaps that cover the DC and AC ports, which is really nice. So usually you don't have a flap that covers the AC port, usually it's only the DC port, but I really do like this design and attention to detail, because to open both, you just press this lever here, and then you can close them like that, or you can just open up one if you don't want to, and oh, you press the bottom one. That's pretty cool, pretty nice design. And also, if you don't close them before you close the flap here, oh, it actually won't close. You have to close them manually. So that's just a really nice design I wanted to show you guys. So we're here at this charger, as I said, 225 kilowatts, and I'm going to use the Elton charging app to start the charging, because this video is sponsored by Elton. And we press that charge icon down there, and then we choose this charger. Oh, now we're going to choose this charger by the Esso. No, we're by the McDonald's. Esso is over there. This is by the McDonald's, so we're going to choose this. And this charger is called 4137B. So we choose 4137B. We do that, and we press start charging, and then we unlatch it here, and we connect it. So let's go over here to the charger. It should, you know, start charging pretty quickly. We can see that the car's now connected, and that's really quick initialization. My God, I can't. That's very quick starting the communication with the car. And 35%, we're gonna get the speed over here in just a second. But I'm really curious to see what kind of speed we're gonna get now at 35% with only passive heating of the battery. I have not done any preconditioning. We don't do that in this test. This test is all about getting that maximum range and also connecting to the charger with passive heating to see how the car performs now that it is winter and now that it is cold. So 50 kilowatts seems to be what we're getting now. It's limited by the amperage. We're now at 400 volts, 125 amps. Don't think we're going to get any more than that. So that's not a high charging speed, but also to be expected, maybe a little bit lower than what I would expect at 36% considering the size of this battery. But again, not too bad. So as I said, I was using the Elton charging app because this video is sponsored by Elton, which is a charging app that works with almost every charge point operator in Norway, Sweden, and Finland. And it is super easy. One app, one payment method, one charging map. Really nice interface. You can see vacancy or occupy the charger, if chargers are vacant or occupied along your route, and monitor them in real time. It's a really nice tool if you plan on traveling in Norway or traveling in the Nordics with an electric car. I use it a lot when I'm traveling long distance in these countries. So if you want to support the channel, go to the link in the description box down below and download the Elton charging app from there. Before we end today's video, let's take a look at the battery pack size, the consumption, and then calculate theoretical range. So this BMW i4 eDrive40 has a usable battery capacity of 80.7 kilowatt hours. We take that number, divided by the consumption, 21.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and then subtract 3% of heat loss. We get a theoretical range under today's conditions, winter conditions, of 300 162 kilometers. And I have to say, that is very, very impressive. If we take a look at the chart, this car is among the very best when it comes to cold weather testing. I think we're like in the top 5 of cars which we have tested around 0 degrees Celsius and even colder. That is super impressive. The only cars that have done better than this is like the Tesla Model S long range and Mercedes EQS. That is super impressive. I knew that this car was going to be pretty efficient, but in this configuration with these small wheels, I'm amazed at how efficient this car really is. I'm super, super impressed. Not that impressed with the charging speed, though now we're actually getting 109 kilowatt hours. Preconditioning the battery of this car before going to charge it is actually the way to go. But again, in this test, we only do the passive heating to see what reaction we get out of the car, to see how it actually performs. 116, 118. Now it is ramping up. That is interesting. At what's the percentage now? 44%, 120 kilowatts, plus 1.5 degrees Celsius outside. That is not bad. But considering the range of this car, yeah, that is very, very good. So guys, let me know what you think about the performance of this BMW i4 in today's test. Is it good? Is it bad? Are you impressed, or were you expecting more? So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.